What's up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, back at you once again. Just after the Super Bowl. Yes, Super Bowl just happened, but you guys won't know because these videos take fucking forever to make. But for those of you who did watch the Super Bowl, hope you guys enjoyed the game. You know damn well I didn't. But pretty much, this is gonna be the video of like the best matches of January, 2019. These are my 10 favorite. I was gonna make 15, but I might have to say that for WrestleMania weekend or something like that. But for the most part, I thought January had some pretty good matches. Two match of the year contenders. One more than the other. That's pretty much all I gotta say about that. The card was freaking the cards these that we've had over the years were pretty good, and we just had a really good match during halftime heat, which honestly I probably should have watched that instead of Maroon 5. And I like Maroon 5, but they're kind of meh. I was just kind of whatever with those guys. I definitely should have watched the match between Ciampa, Gargano, and Cole versus Black Dream and Ricochet, because that was a great match. But I just finished watching it. But this is gonna be my official list of my favorite matches of the month. Some honorable mentions, I could say. Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks was pretty good. Couldn't quite make it. Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley was good, not great. It could have been in the card, but it just didn't quite make it. Let's see, Ciampa and Black. That one was this close. The only problem is that it wasn't as memorable as like other matches. It was just kind of a their match. What other matches? There was a lot of pretty solid matches, but for the most part, yeah, not a lot of things made in my list. But there's a lot of pretty good stuff. There's talks that AEW already started. I haven't seen an episode yet. But yeah, anything you guys need, let me know. I believe the New Beginning shows are in February. I'm pretty sure one of them just happened earlier today. But anyways, here's my list. Number 10, Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas, the 2 out of 3 falls match from SmackDown, January 22nd. This was main evented the show. It was a really good back and forth match, basically following up the other classic, which we'll get to in this list. These guys just had great chemistry. I knew they had great chemistry. I personally would have saved these matches for WrestleMania. I don't know why they had it this soon, but it was a pretty good match, and I kind of like that it ended in a DQ finish. That way, possibly, we will get the match at WrestleMania. You know, I'm not going to get my high hopes up, but if we didn't get them, I'm pretty happy with the matches we got now. And what I like about Andrade Cien Almas, and he is Andrade Cien Almas. He's not Andrade. He's not whatever the fuck WWE wants me to call him. He knows how to have different rematches. Like, what made his Gargano matches so special is that they were all different. They all felt different. They all had their pieces to feel special. So I thought Almas is probably like the king of having perfect rematches, a perfect balance of having each match stand out despite how many times he faces an opponent. I mean, hell, he could have fought Gargano a 5th time and it could have been just as amazing, if not even a classic. Like, even it could have been better than the Philadelphia match. Who knows? And that's how great Almas is. Rey Mysterio is a young veteran who's been in the company for decades. He's wrestled and he's done a lot better now, so that's definitely showing it. I kind of want to save this for the next match that I'll talk about, but anyways, that's pretty much it. Asuka and Becky Lynch from the Royal Rumble made it on my number 9 list. The Royal Rumble was a pretty weird show. Balor and Brock Lesnar was a disappointing match. Same with Bryan and Styles. The main title matches were disappointing. The Rumble matches, other than the results, I really thought they were meh Rumbles at best. Shane and Miz winning the tag belts. The match was okay. Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks was probably a great match. The closest thing in here that could have made it other than this match. But Asuka and Becky Lynch had a classic. This was an amazing match. Definitely, it's kind of a good thing that Becky Lynch is just so over that she was willing to put Asuka over because she needed to be over. And it was a perfect balance. I think both girls did a fantastic job. It helped Asuka feel like a stronger character, and Well, Becky Lynch, we all know where she goes. So I'm pretty happy. And I kind of hope that Asuka doesn't end up in the pre-show. I hope she actually gets an actual match on the main card. And she does something great. Because Asuka is a very talented young lady. They're finally revamping her. And hopefully they get her a perfect opponent. If I were them, I probably would bring Kairi Sane up to the main roster already. And do Kairi Sane and Asuka at WrestleMania. If not, I would do a rematch with Charlotte and Becky. If they don't do with Charlotte and Asuka, I would have done a rematch there. Since unless they're doing the triple threat match with Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte at WrestleMania. Hopefully, I kind of wish they do Becky and Ronda do their own thing and kind of keep Charlotte away from it. Maybe we could do a triple threat at the next pay-per-view. But right now, I really want to see just two girls, just no other person there. Just hopefully, they do good by that. Number 8 is a shocking thing that New Japan's done in a while. They put one of their best matches on the opening card. They had Will Ospreay and Kota Ibushi from Wrestle Kingdom 13. Now, I've complained that New Japan tends to have this formula of having each show feel the same in the beginning, where they have like a shitty first hour and then a phenomenal final hour. And now I like that they changed up their card a bit. They put one of their bigger matches in the opening, and then the show kind of went from there. I like how they moved the card around. I like that they did that. And this was a perfect opening match because it's Kota Ibushi and Will Ospreay. These guys have had this probably their first match, or at least their first like memorable match, because I don't remember them having any other matches. But this was a big deal. Kota Ibushi being probably the most over young guy, the most over little guy since Bryan and Styles. And Ospreay has just been on the road, just having classics. And I like that they moved them from the Super Junior division, aka the Cruiserweight division, to the upper mid-card division, because I think Will Ospreay is that guy that could work in both divisions. But I'm pretty sure he's ready for a bigger push, and this was definitely a bigger push for him. And I love the match. It was just what you expect, and I can't wait for his match with Pac. Number 7, Pete Dunne versus Joe Coffrey. I think that's how you say it, from NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. I'm not that into UK TakeOver. It's kind of a stupid name. I would have just called it WWE UK like they do WWE NXT, but I don't know, I just wasn't digging it. And I also didn't like that they call it UK TakeOver. I kind of wish, if you want to make the UK division and the UK show be its own thing, you're going to have to make it stand out. It does stand out. I'm just saying they have to make it not be NXT. It has to be its own thing. That's why 205 Live now has been working great, because one is being run by Triple H, and two, it's its own thing. It's its own thing trying to be... It's just trying to be on its own. It's not trying to be like NXT. It's just kind of a small show. To be fair, it's 1 hour. Well, so is NXT and NXT UK. The point is, this was a great match. Pete Dunne is just a phenomenal worker. Probably my favorite champion right now. Honestly, out of everybody, all the belts. Like, the only other champion I find credible right now is Daniel Bryan. If not Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa and Daniel Bryan are the only other two. Actually, all the NXT champions are doing pretty good for the most part. Daniel Bryan is probably the only good thing in the main roster that involves a champion. And Pete Dunne has just been on a roll since 2016. I believe it was... No, not 2016. 2017. When he won the belt, and he's just been on a roll, having classics with everybody. So Pete Dunne has just been on a roll, and I can't wait. I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose it at the next takeover or the next event, whatever the name of that really huge guy was. I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose it to that guy. But if he does win, it makes you curious, because you give him different kinds of opponents, and you're curious as to how Pete Dunne is gonna beat them, and that's what makes him a big standout out of everybody. Number 6, the Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders from NXT TakeOver Phoenix. Now, because I was gone for so long, I never got a chance to talk about War Games. War Games was a great show, a phenomenal show. The main event, the War Games itself, was just as good, if not better, than the one with Sanity, AOP, Roderick Strong, and the Undisputed Era. However, what would have made that match stand out, other than blood, was probably having the freaking, what's his name? I would have had all the belts on the line. Like Bobby Fish goes for the UK belt, Adam Cole goes for the NXT North American belt, and the War Raiders go for the tag belts. They win the belts, and then War Raiders defend them here. They didn't do that, unfortunately, but it was still a great moment to finally have the War Raiders be champions. Plus, they won it to a very strong tag team. A tag team that cheats to win, but you're kind of curious as to who's going to win, because Undisputed Era tend to cheat a lot. And it's kind of cool that they didn't wait until WrestleMania season. They actually did it right then and there. So I'm now curious to see what they do with this tag team division, especially now that the War Raiders won. Unless they do a final rematch and that's the end of it. Also, speaking of how I'm glad that New Japan Pro Wrestling moved their card around, I kind of wish NXT TakeOver do that more. Because we've gotten this thing where we have the tag match in the beginning. We have the debut person in second. Then one of the double main events, if not the women's match, and so on. I kind of wish they moved their card around as well, just so each takeover feels different. So I don't know. There's a lot of things to talk about, but anyways, yeah, this was a great match, a fantastic match, one of my favorites of the year so far. War Raiders are one of my favorite tag teams, one of my favorite big men. Basically, they're what Heavy Machinery could have been if they won the belts. I'm kind of disappointed that now they're on the main roster and they really made them idiots before they even got there. It was just pretty disappointing. Number 5, Chris Jericho versus Tetsuya Naito from New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 13, the final match of Chris Jericho's career in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I kind of wish they went all the way with Jericho. You know, him defending the belt against other people. I'm pretty sure what they wanted to do is have Jericho defend it in the WWE. Because I heard they were going to do Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho for the, champion versus champion. But they didn't want that. Which I understand, honestly. I really do understand why they didn't go that route. But, I mean, it still would have been nice to see. I was pretty happy still with what Jericho did for the company and for himself. Because now he's just been on a roll. Having a great character, giving other people a big push. Just making everything great. That Jericho cruise put the Bullet Club on the map. I mean, they were already red hot. But now that's just like an upper, an upper push. Now they're doing AEW, and the fact that Jericho signed was great. As for Tetsuya Naito, I kind of wish he went back to the World Championship picture, but I'm kind of still okay with him being the Intercontinental Champion. I just kind of wish they did something else with Naito other than being in the IC picture. He definitely deserves to be one of their top guys, especially now that, most of their talents are gone, like Cody, Jericho, Omega at this point. So Naito should probably be the next top guy for them. Because I love Tanahashi, but kind of wish he did something else. And Okada. I love Okada and I love Tanahashi, but I'm kind of tired of seeing those two mix up. Hell, how about this? Push Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii. That guy deserves a bigger push. I don't think he's World Championship material yet, but I'm pretty sure he should be the IC champion, not Naito. I'm pretty sure that's the route they're going to go for, especially now. But I'm still happy with what they're doing with him. Number 4, Rey Mysterio versus Andrade Cien Almas from January 15. This is the match that should have happened at WrestleMania. Andrade Cien Almas gets a big push, gets a big victory from Rey Mysterio. And this could be a perfect story of how Almas is just out there to just prove himself by taking on the top guy. If anything, he should be United States champion. the fact that they screwed up Rusev and Nakamura with R-Truth, yeah, that belt's got to go to Almas. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do, and then they're going to do Mysterio Almas at WrestleMania. Hopefully they go that route, because like I said, Almas is the king of having great rematches and have each rematch stand different than the other. So Almas is just on a roll, and I'm glad that Rey Mysterio himself is ready to push the next top Mexican luchadores. I'm Mexican, so you know how much I love my Mexican wrestlers, except Alberto Del Rio, whoever the fuck that was. That guy was a loser, clearly. But Rey Mysterio, Almas, a lot of guys have tried but never pushed. And I've even heard Vince likes him, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do something great with Almas. Clearly, they want to push him to be the WWE champion, but I could tell they're afraid that he's gonna wind up like Alberto Del Rio. Because let's be honest, Almas is not the best at promos. Thankfully, he has Selena Vega with him. And I'm not a big fan of Selena Vega as a wrestler. I just love her as a manager. Like certain people should not be wrestling. I'm sorry. Like, example, when they put Michael Cole in the ring, yeah, you guys clearly knew that was a bad idea. I'm not saying Selena Vega can't wrestle. I'm just saying she's better off as a manager. Anyways, back to the match. These guys just have great chemistry. It's clearly meant to be. And I've seen new moves from both of them. They kind of even, pay tribute to classic Mexican wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero, of course. I mean, who can't not give tribute to that guy? So, yeah, I just love this match. It definitely made me say they're going to do something great with Almas. And hopefully, WWE does not disappoint me. Number 3, the Moustache Mountain versus the Grizzled Young Veterans from NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. Like I said, I thought NXT UK was TakeOver Blackpool was okay at best. Because really there was only 2 matches I liked and I put both of them. These 2 and the Toni Storm Rhea Ripley match was also good. Not great. My problem with this match is one thing, and it's pretty simple. Why was this the first match? You're introducing new belts to the mix, and you just put them in the first match. They should have been like in the middle of the show, not in the very beginning of the show. Because really, that kind of, you guys put yourself in a bad place. Because I mean, I knew that Balor getting a pop was gonna be huge, but yeah, this match clearly should have been like 3rd on the card out of the 5 matches. I was still pretty happy with the match. This was just a classic. Mustache Mountain is one of my favorite tag teams right now. The Grizzled Young Veterans, I've never knew who these guys were, but now that I saw this match, I was pretty happy with what they did. And I like that they played tribute for Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith. I really love that they did that. It was just a great match. It really shows me that tag team division is great, and Triple H clearly gives a shit about this company. And yeah, I really do wish that Triple H they just give the ball to Triple H. Just be like, that's it, man. You take over. Pun intended. Number 2 and number 1 were really, really hard to put together. And I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly which matches these are. But number 2 and number 1, yeah, again, they were really hard to put together because both of them are the best matches of the year. But as far as which one is going to stick out to me the most, is going to be my number 1. So number 2 is Kenny Omega and Hiroshi Tanahashi from New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 13. The last match of Kenny Omega's career in New Japan Pro Wrestling, from what I hear. Unless he comes back to New Japan and trolls us. If he goes to AEW, if he goes to the WWE, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Kenny Omega. But this is the last match of Kenny Omega as of right now. And I loved the match. It was just fantastic. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the top guy who hasn't been the IWGP champion in maybe 2-3 years, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say around there, 2-3 years. And they finally gave him the belt. And it was kind of like a great way to show Hiroshi Tanahashi that he could be helping out the guys that couldn't help it when he was IC champion. Because it's pretty much the John Cena of New Japan Pro Wrestling. People have made that comparison for years. And it really did show. And this kind of did remind me of AJ Styles and John Cena. Only with the names not being as big. But the point is, this match was amazing. And it was just those matches that just made me say that, wow, New Japan, no matter what, they still gonna give us a classic somehow. And I love the match. It was just a great match. The reason why it's not my number one is just that, one, the match is way too fucking long. These New Japan matches have got to stop being long. And two, the overusage of finishers. They've gotten a lot better of selling the moves, so I'll give them that. But number one for me is going to be Johnny Gargano and Ricochet from TakeOver Phoenix. This was the match that clearly showed me that Johnny is definitely Johnny TakeOver, just like Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania. Johnny Gargano and Ricochet just had one of the biggest matches I've ever seen, and it was in the middle of the show. I'm glad that it could have been co-main event, but it really, if this was the co-main event, it would have really hurt Black and Ciampa if that was gonna be the main event. If anything, this should have been the main event, because this is the only match people gave a shit about. I remember the build-up too of all the matches. This is the only match people wanted to see, so why didn't they just make this the main event? And it does disappoint me that it wasn't the main event. So there's that. And I personally think that this was going to be those matches that people are going to go back and see and be like, wow, I remember when those two just tore the house down. Ricochet probably had my favorite match of his entire career. Gargano has just been having classics after classics with Ciampa, Black, Velveteen Dream, Andrade, Cien, Almas. Even like some newer guys that are coming up. I'm pretty sure he could have a classic with Matt Riddle. I'm not the biggest Matt Riddle fan, but I've definitely been enjoying what he's been doing now. So yeah, I just love this match. It was an incredible match. You definitely got to go see it if you haven't. Just the flips, the perfect selling, and I like the finish. I really love the finish. I like when finishes come out of nowhere. Pretty much, Gargano breaks the concrete floor like he did with Ciampa. He gives Ricochet a DDT to the outside of that concrete and just pins him 1, 2, 3. It was weird. It was different. It was unrealistic in the terms of WWE, but I loved it. It was unique. That's probably the most important word, that the finish was unique, and I loved it. So that's my take on it. Those are my favorite matches of the month of January so far. Hopefully February pulls more classics up the ass, because I don't know what the hell's gonna top these 10 matches. These 10 matches were all fantastic. Even the matches that weren't on the list, like the honorable mentions I said. So I really enjoyed these matches. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's me, the ALE XX Prince. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.